What do you think of all the all the zouk artists going crazy over that juice comments from 2012 to 2017?
Well, first of
For
all, the
those
comments. I mean, a lot of
for
people.
those who
I'm
don't
sorry.
know, that juice said I don't like zouk, and every zouk artist is saying, but some of your tracks are zouk tracks. So it just created a whole commotion on the
Yeah,
internet.
that's like me saying that I don't like. For example, I like kizomba as a music, but I just don't necessarily like the movement as the whole dancers grinding on each other and fucking rubbing dicks over it. Like that shit is not for
That's
me.
not Kizomba. Come
But
on, that's not
I do have
Kizomba.
a bias towards kizomba and tarashinya and all that shit because of some shit in the past. But yeah,
Okay,
um,
so one of your
but I
girls was a Kizomba dancer, and it ended bad
no,
because
it's
she was
it is what
dancing
it
strange
is.
with some people. You know,
I understand that people love the dance, and I
there's
respect that,
different
and I
ways to
find it to be
dance it
beautiful. I do
without
find
rubbing
it.
each other.
I
There's
obviously
sometimes it's
I know, but yo, I do know that majority of the time, it's all about seeing who you're gonna be banging next. So I'm just not into that shit.
oh my
Same thing
god,
with those
le
salsa classes and all that shit.
préjugé.
No, I'm sorry, I do have a
That's not
massive
true.
prejudge. I'm sorry, all these courses. I'm just like, okay.
I have to
Anything that
take you to a
involves
Kizomba
like
festival so
body
you
to
can
body
see.
situation, oh please,
I'm gonna take you.
this is fucker drone. This is just like, I mean, I have
I'm
no
gonna take
problem.
you to a Kizomba festival so you
I'll have
realize it
fun.
has nothing to do with what you're saying.
I'm sure. I'm certain.
You're gonna become a big Kizomba dancer. You're gonna be
Look,
like,
and I can dance kizomba.
"Caúdos".
I can dance kizomba. I dance it. It's just that but I do like the music, and I do enjoy seeing some of the dancers do their thing. But I always have a preconceived idea about a lot of them. You know, I'm just like, okay. You know, I'm not 100% with it. I'm not gonna lie. That's like people having preconceived ideas about DJs. And a lot of
Yeah,
the preconceived ideas are true. The cliches are very true, unfortunately. But you know,
but
so yeah, I might get canceled for saying that. But yeah, so Daju, yeah,
you are already canceled. So yeah, that's
I've
you.
been canceled. So let's be more. I, First of all, the guys express his opinion. Okay, well, you know, let's also put in perspective one thing, right? A lot of these guys don't really have a musical spine. They'll jump on whatever is hype, and it's okay. I think that you need guys like that as well. Um, Talented the guy is definitely, but I don't see, and I actually would have to dive into his musical catalog to understand his journey. But so what? Even if you say something about Zouk, what is Tommy saying?
There's
There's
Kizomba
Kizomba
and
and
there's
there's
Tarashinia,
Tarashina. There's a difference, but
where body's coming from.
I know there's a difference between the two. Trust me. But I'm sorry, my mind has mixed both and everything else in the middle and around. It's, look, let me tell you. Every time I see people say Kizomba, I don't know. I have a weird. I get that. I just have to just like. Remember when we
Oh
went
my
with
god.
our friend to this Kizomba club here in Lisbon years ago, before COVID, and she started dancing. You and I, we accompanied her, and she's and it's a friend, right? So, but I get when I'm hanging out with my female friends, we look after them, we make sure that they're good, nobody bothers them, whatever, and we let them do their thing. But obviously, we make sure that no guys act inappropriately. But I don't know, man. I just didn't like the way those guys were moving, it's an excuse. These sounds are an excuse for promiscuity, and I understand it's part of it. It's normal. I mean, you see a girl you like, you see a guy you like, you're gonna use that pretext to come together. I get the concept. I'm not saying I'm not gonna be a fucking faux cul and not say that I wouldn't take the opportunity, but
All
that's my
right, back to
point.
the matter.
Ah, faut débattre ou bien? Bon, ok, tu lances des
No,
sujets.
No,
Well,
I'm asking you about the main
so
subject, which is
the Jew, I think that anyway, he's entitled to his opinion. The zoo community loves to fucking complain about everything, but look, you are one of the biggest stars of the zoo music, internationally renowned and respected. Your contribution to the sound has been tremendous, and here they are repeating almost word for word everything you've said, and or you know painfully acknowledging you for your contribution now. But it's like, what good does it do? Like, it's like they don't appreciate anyone doing their music, especially people of the Caribbean, people outside of the Caribbean, it seems, Africans, etc. It's like, but why it's like people who complain about those Ukrainian or Russian or uh Polish women doing kizomba classes and doing Afro house classes. It's like, dude, like, why are you gonna shoot the people who are actually understanding how to turn your thing into a business? Because for you, it's all about fun and play, but you're not actually. Oh, you can't say that. You're disrespecting. But no, I'm not disrespecting. The fact of the matter is that, have you managed to turn this into a business? No, you haven't, because I don't know. Okay, get into it before I put myself into more shit. I'm gonna get canceled even more.
no. I'm listening to your opinion. It's interesting. MJ say I think Daju is coming to Edmonton this month and next month. If he doesn't like Zouk, then that's his opinion. I ain't mad at him, but maybe I'm missing the context. Zouk still rocks.
For sure. The music is amazing. Not to cut you, Papa K, but I wanted to add, because I think my point might be taking a little bit of context, maybe. But the
You backtracking?
Zouk. No, I'm not back. No. None of the things that I have backtracking. I do have to say that Zouk as a music, as a sound, man, come on, it's one of the most inspiring. I mean, I love it so much. It's my shit. Like, I can listen to it, over and over. So for somebody to say they don't like it, but then make that music coming from that world of commercial sounds, I am not surprised. They'll do what they do in order to make the bank. So
Do
if
you
you're
believe?
purist, I get it.
Do you know the song "Calm Down" by Rema that has 1 billion streams?
Yeah.
The baby calm down.
I don't know.
It's a
That
Zouk song,
song bores the fuck out of me.
but it's a Zouk song. If you listen to the rhythm,
Bon, oui, mais enfin. The drums.
the drums are Zouk drums.
Yeah. But the
And
rest is afrobeats.
but what is Afrobeats? Afrobeat is the same as Kizomba. It's just a term
No, okay.
where
It's like
we,
ghetto
this is like
zouk or candy
we put
zouk. Come
we
on.
put everything in there. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course.
to me, that's where all the arguments of all the Zouk artists that I was listening to their space, all there complaining. The first thing I wanted to do was give them a mirror for them to also ask themselves, what did they do for that music that they defend only when there's, it's just like you said. Sometimes I'm gonna post a video of a Ukrainian girl or a Russian girl or an Indian person couple dancing, or Brazilian couple dancing to my music.
Kizomba, man.
Yeah, sometimes I'm gonna post those people dancing on my music in their own way, maybe originating from wherever, but then they're gonna add their own flavor, because everybody adds their own flavor to things, right? And then I'm gonna have a bunch of Caverdians or Angolans in the comments saying, "This is not Kizomba. That's not the way you dance it." And me, I'm gonna be like,
Kizomba, caraças. O Kaysha, você tá a fazer promoção pessoas erradas, caralho.
and then I'm gonna be like, guys, first of all, you are not doing any videos for me to post. So why are you complaining when others are doing it? I'm an artist. I appreciate people performing on my performance. I make music. It inspires other artists that are dancers. However they dance, I don't care. For me, I appreciate seeing what they come up with my music. And if you really wanted to support your music, you would do videos as well instead of coming in the comments, because some people only exist in the comment sections. When it's time to support, when it's time to buy the music, when it's time to show your appreciation, there's nobody.
Nope.
And in this zouk thing, I was looking at all these artists, I was listening to them talk, and I was like, look at all of them. They are part of the reason why zouk is where it is. And today I talked with one girl that was in the space, and she's one of the biggest zouk artists. So I'm with her on the phone this morning. So we talk about this whole situation, and I ask her, what if Daju just came out of nowhere and proposed to one of you guys to do a featuring tomorrow? Who do you think would accept? And you know what she replied to me? Everybody.
But did you see his concert in Martinique or Guadeloupe? It was full.
It was full, of course.
The one that he just did.
Yeah.
Actually, during this
Nobody
scandal.
boycotted. Nobody did any boycott. Of course, it was full, because people don't really care about that conversation. That's the outrage that is kind of useless.
And I think this was a slap in the face of all the people that was in that space that you attended, that you listened to. It's a massive slap in their face, unfortunately, because it's like you can clearly see that y'all jumping on the fucking wagon now and trying to like take shots at the guy and try to shine through that and come back. Here we are, like crab mentality, you know, like, oh my God, there's a little bit of like, ooh. It's like y'all are trying to ride the wave.
Pasquale. Yeah, no. I was watching it and I was like, well, body's traumatized. Yeah.
Body's traumatized.
I don't know by who. But no, you see,
it's not traumatized. Traumas.
I had a long conversation with her about the whole thing, because she's been in the game since she was 16, and she's in her 40s now. So once you've been in the game for long enough and you've seen the mediocrity of the people in the game, and it's not just for zouk music, it's a lot of genres in general, right? Mm-hmm. Mediocrity and lack of leadership and lack of organization will guide you exactly to that village of people just taking parts of your culture and doing whatever they want with it. And I believe there's a real conversation to be had, and I will do it in French about the zouk music, because I believe it's important that they hear it. There's a conversation to be had about the fact that, in the contrary to Haitian music with Haiti, Jamaican music with reggae and dancehall music with Jamaica, Congolese music with Congo, or soca music with Barbados, all these communities, all these people are Trinidad, Tobago, all these communities are countries.
Reggaeton,
all these communities are countries. Mm-hmm. And the big difference here is that the French West Indies are still a French territory. They never gave them back their independence.
Attention, Papaké. Vous rentrez sur le chemin politique, monsieur.
No, it's not politics. It's just the reality. You know, when the Americans brought the slaves in America, they deported a lot of Africans out of their land. They brought it in their country to work, right? So when they gave them their freedom hundreds of years later, and they had to go through all these evolution to become on the same level as American citizens, it was still in the same land. It's in the same country. So if I'm watching the news at 8 and somebody says, "Oh, there's been something in Boston," and I'm an African American and I grew up in Boston, I can say, "Oh, that's my land." So when I'm watching the news as an American, an African American, I feel American. I feel that I'm from this land, even if I know that I have a history coming from Africa 400 years ago. I'm now American because my family has been on this land forever. When I'm from,
how do they call themselves, as a matter of fact, those ones? Foundational Black Americans or something?
leave me alone with that. So when now, if I'm from,
Mais pourquoi je vais te
Is-
leave alone?
if I'm from Haiti, after the revolution, and they freed themselves from the French, they became a republic, and so there's a destiny of a people. But when you are from Martinique or Guadeloupe or Guyane, you are in the French territory, meaning that your destiny is the destiny of the French people. So you can see yourself as a country, you can see yourself as a people, but in reality, you are administrated still by the French government that is 8,000 kilometers away from you and doesn't really care about you. So your culture is not the culture of a country, but the culture of a department, some distant land that belong to the French people. And your culture become a subculture, just like Corsica, just like Brittany, all these places. Even your language is not the main language of the country where you are. And this is the dichotomy that these people are living through. And I believe that is an element of response for why it's hard to have your culture become not respected, but on the forefront, when the country where you're from, they don't really care about that. They care about R&B, hip hop, French variété. That's it.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Yet at the same time, those who are pushing the movement right now are African people. Ayana Kamura, Daju, you name them, right? So it's what
They're
you're
not
saying
pushing
is
the
true.
movement. They're just doing music.
They're using it. They're using it, I guess.
Yeah, just like the Nigerians are using it as well. They're not pushing a movement. They're just doing music. Listen, please, let's stop acting like we're not in the age of the internet where everybody's listening to everything. We never had access to so much music. So everybody is inspired by everything. Listen, you can be inspired by zouk without knowing that it's zouk. You can be inspired by compa without really knowing it's compa. You can be inspired by reggaeton because of a Justin Bieber song, right? You can listen to, do something that sounds like kizomba just because you heard a bodhisattva beat, right? So everything is mixed, and some people understand what are the genres, but most people, they are not as scientific as you think. For them, it's just good music.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of these artists, they're not beat makers. They hear a beat, they do a melody, or sometimes they hear a beat with a melody that is given to them. They write something, comes out, it's a hit. You tell them it's zouk, you tell them it's this, and they don't care. And I remember when I was 25 and we were doing the zouk R&B movement, and everybody was telling us, how do you call your music? My response was, it's just music to make girls shake their ass. And they were like, yeah, but does it have a name? I was like, yeah, girls that make music that make girls shake their ass. That's what I would tell in interviews, because I was like, stop asking us. I remember vividly. So 25 years ago, we in the West Indies, but you are the zouk new generation. I was like, no, we're not. But you are the zouk R&B. I was like, no, we just make music. Listen, we come from hip hop, from R&B. We listen to all these things, and we did a little mix of this. And we didn't want to be defined. I remember I was always saying I don't want to be defined, because if you define me, you limit me.
Hmm.
So don't call me a zouk artist. Don't call me a R&B artist. Don't call me a rap artist. I'm free. So I kind of understand both sides. We want our culture to be respected, and we want the songs to be called what they are. I understand that side, but I also understand the side of I don't want to be labeled something, and I just want to be free to make music. And listen, you can call my music how you want. You can yeah, you can say, oh, that's amazing that you do zouk, cool. But instead of telling somebody that's amazing that you make zouk, you go to people and you're like, hey, say zouk, hey, say zouk. You hear me? Hey, say zouk. Why don't you say zouk? And I'm like,
It just almost scared me, man. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was waking you up. And
I
and
was
and
there.
that's where
I was not sleeping yet. You
you
see me?
kind of pushing people away. You see what I mean?
No, 100%.
Because you are
But
just
I think that I think, but I understand also why they feel like that, because I
uh-huh.
think a lot of the time, man, it's not easy. We were just having the conversation before we did the live, right? When we were talking about some people are just, no matter how much tools you give them, they're not able to process the mechanism and put in place a system that will allow them to get away from whichever position or situation they find themselves in. It's like
Emotions.
it's not easy. Yeah, actually, the truth is, I have empathy for people like that, up to a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, so it's deep, man. It's complicated. It's like we had a. I remember when I had a similar situation when I because I was one of the biggest disruptor in my industry for bringing. I really took. Well, I wasn't the one bringing it. Oshunlade was the one that actually. Oshunlade, for those who may not know him, big producer, massive DJ, one of my biggest inspiration as well. Worked for India Ari, Massey Gray, Music Soul Child's first album, the Gap Band. I mean, worked with Prince, or almost worked with Prince. Anyways, legend. Um, and so he was doing like edits and edits of R&B songs like Ciara, etc., and playing them in his sets with his very unique sounds, the Yoruba soul sound.
Yeah.
And actually, ancestral soul was inspired by Oshunade's Yoruba soul, because I just understood exactly what he was doing,
Okay.
and I just added my own swing and flavor, Central African flavor and swing. And again, yes, I added the Coupé de Gale reference, the zouk. That's why I understand exactly what you're talking about, because these were the music that inspired me as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
Listening to your music, or Kassav, or so many others, right? And it's like those are the sounds that have literally raised me as a teenager. So I think when I decided to incorporate these sounds in house music and in Afro house particularly, and bear in mind at the time we're talking about 20 years, almost 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago now. It was still rather new. And yo, the backlash I got, man. People already then I was boycotted. Not many gigs. Promoters were not calling anymore. It was they would not respond positively. It was really, really an off time. So again, being a precursor, being a leader, being somebody that is always pushing the envelope, mixing things, and sort of like, again, yeah, pushing the envelope, you're going to be met with backlashes. Even though I do feel like what Daju and all these other artists are doing is something that you, Kaysha, have done time and time again, over and over, but just not been, you know, publicized in the way they are, and backed with the type of media power and visibility that they have. That you had at a certain point, and you were also boycotted from the game yourself. So, man, nothing new under the sun, I would just say. So, hey, good for them if they can milk that cow. And if those, as you said, those from the older generation who were smart enough and humble enough to be like, hey, dude, let's work together. Because as you were saying to me one of these days, you're like, these young girls and guys are fans of these singers. All they have to do is just go and say, "Hey, look, I just heard that song. I love what you're doing. How about we do a song together?" They would be starstruck.
Yeah. They would be like, oh my God, when I'm gonna tell my mom that I'm working with you. She Zouk still has an audience. If you listen to artists like Aya Nakamura with her popularity, has Zouk sounds on her album. And it's just different ways to see it. If you see it in listen, the our culture is just spreading all around the world, and the name doesn't really matter. And some people, they just like the name matter.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
name. We want you to say the name. We want you to say it. Me, I'm like, listen, sometimes I hear Candy Zouk. I hear my own style that invented. My variation of Zouk. I hear it sometimes I hear rim shots. I can hear when people sample my stuff. I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
hear, you can hear your influence.
100%.
I don't go to people and tell them, hey, why don't you say Candy Zouk in the beginning of your song? I'm like, yeah, I did that. I'm just happy that I did that. But I think the difference is I'm in such a good place financially and in what I did, that I don't have that frustration of, and maybe because I'm kind of culturally without no land in reality, because I just do anything I want. I don't feel that, and I'm not in this thing. Maybe, and again, it comes to my analysis of maybe what these people are going through because of being. Princess Lover told me we feel that we are le cul entre deux chaises in French. I don't know how you translate that in English.
Yeah, you got your butt between two chairs or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time we are French, but at the same time we feel that we are our own people, and at the same time we want our culture to be respected and exist in our country. But in reality, our islands are not countries anymore. So it's complicated, and maybe this is why maybe they feel like they need to have this validation. I don't need to be validated by nobody, so I kind of understand what they are going through, but I don't have this feeling because I don't have the same history as and my lineage, Portuguese or Congolese, don't have the same history. So
But
maybe.
if I may add to what you're saying, because I think the way it comes out and the way it sounds when you said it could sound cocky, it could sound like whatever, but people forget that you've been cancelled and you've had to work your way to your own financial independence a long time ago, obviously. But it took so many years of actually being confronted with isolation and figuring out ways to actually survive through the isolation that allows you to now be, you know, you know, living off of the massive amount of work you've been doing for these decades, right? So I think that a lot of people need to understand that nobody just came and gave you a fucking silver spoon and fed you.
Of
Like
course
you
not.
literally had you worked your way through it. So I think that's important to emphasize on the fact
No, the
that
the
this makes you
worst.
difference between you and the rest because you've always,
And I think
your circumstances pushed you to look beyond, your
I think the worst part is that all these artists that are complaining, I've worked with them. I work from inside. I understand the Zouk market from inside, and I know exactly what are all the flaws from the media, the the investors, the artists, and the public. I can criticize all four of them, from the good and the bad. And Tome, when you said reggaeton is actually from Panama, no, reggaeton is actually from Jamaica in reality, because every reggaeton is a derivation of the song Dembo by Shaba. Then the Panamanians did a Spanish version. Then they went to Puerto Rico, where the big Dembo movement coming from the song turned into reggaeton. So originally, Jamaica, Shabba Ranks. Dembo, Dembo, Dembo. That's the song. I remember because in 92, I went to a Shabba Rank concert with my first ever Martinique girlfriend. Those were the days.
And it's
I
amazing
was,
how reggaeton is it's the same freaking beat over and over and over. Okay, they refresh it somehow,
and
but
the
then
same lyrics.
it's always fucking
It
nice.
works. Yeah,
It
it's
always
great.
works.
Yeah, it works.
It's
Because
incredible.
they know how to refresh it enough, and then there's then a lot of variations, trapeton, cumbia, etc., etc. There's a lot of when
Mumbaton
you
et compagnie,
go and
ouais,
you
c'est ça.
look, and I think this is the difference. The difference is when you have, and this is why I like the way they do it with hip hop or how they do it with house music. In house music, every variation has a name. And I remember back in the days, we had zouk, zouk chiré, zouk saucisson, zouk love, afro zouk, candy zouk, um, ghetto zouk, R&B zouk, zouk new generation, and everybody knew that it was a variation of zouk because everybody used to call it zouk. But then at a point they lost the battle of branding because they didn't take care of the brand. And they didn't want to share it with the world because of their own issues. They didn't want to share it with the world. They wanted just to be zouk, and it's what we have, it's the little we have. Don't take it from us. And they didn't want other people to call their thing, so people start calling themselves Kizomba.
Yeah.
So now you can't complain. Or you just work because, you know, my mentor always told me everything is cyclic. Reggaeton is at the end of the third wave. Because I remember from Daddy Yankee, then it stopped, and then you had Papi Chulo started the second wave, and then there was 4 or 5 years of reggaeton. Then it went back down. Then it was the J Balvin and them that took it really worldwide because of the streaming services and stuff. And you still have a lot of reggaeton, but now everything is. I don't think what the French West Indians are complaining is actually something that has to really do only with them. But I don't believe they have the knowledge to understand that because every genre is taking something from every genre. Afrobeat is taking from everything. House music is taking from everything. Pop is listen. Most
Now
pops.
house music is taken from potentially everything, but initially it was taken only from disco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it came from disco.
Exactly. And it's really because now we have a generation that is listening to everything. They love everything. Back in the days, for those who are old enough, if you wanted to listen to R&B, you had to go to an R&B club. If you wanted to listen to reggae, you had to go to a reggae club. African music, you had to go to Nelson Club in Paris. Every club had their only genre. Then it started having 1 hour or 30 minutes of every genre in clubs like l'Atlantis in Paris. And then the artists like Rihanna were, there was some before like Wyclef and stuff, but the big artists, I remember I don't know if people remember when Usher did a house music track in his album. That was a revolution back then.
The one
Now
he did
it's
with
normal. Yeah, but now it's normal, you know? Because when he did, everybody was like, oh, those sounds are strange, right? And then, what's his name? Neo had a house music track. And then everybody had one house music track in their albums, and everybody was like, whoa, this is...
But that was
and
because
then,
of David Guetta, actually, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not getting enough credit for that. 'Cause
Exactly.
I think that David Guetta really opened a lot of doors, and he got a lot of slack because he did it EDM, etc. But honestly give praise where and give
Exactly.
praise where they
Yeah.
do, and
Praise to,
David
yeah, yeah.
Guetta
Give flowers to
definitely,
David Guetta for his
definitely.
contribution to the movement. But now it's normal when you have a Rihanna album that has uh, house music, R&B, a reggae track, a house track, and then a pop track, and then a folk track, and they all go to one after the other. One video of this, one video of that. Now it's normal for
Hmm.
that generation that is 20 years old. They don't really care about your battles of territory. For them, they just go everywhere. They like
Yeah,
music, and if you ask me, I prefer this world personally. Some
yeah,
people
I
they
feel you.
some people they want to make it a culture fight, but I think they late. They're 20 years late.
You know what's missing though in this new world is is just knowledge.
Yep.
There's just that's the issue. A lot of people lack knowledge and therefore try to claim authority upon their
Yeah, yeah.
feelings. Your feelings are not a knowledge. It's your feelings are not knowledge.
That's deep.
You're acknowledging your feelings, yes, but your feelings, what you feel, is not truth, and it doesn't stand as truth. It stands as your truth. But it's like I remember I had a debate with some DJ friends of mine, and they were saying to me, "Hey, look," and I was saying, "Look, your selections is cool, but the mixing is really really messed up. Like it's a massive train wreck every time you go from one song to another, which makes it very painful to listen." Oh, well, it's all about the selection, man. And I said, yes, it is indeed about the selection, but it is also about the art of blending songs together nicely and smoothly so that it's pleasing to the ear. Right? You don't want to be on the dance floor enjoying, and then the passage from one song to another feels like you're gonna freaking like break your balls on the dance floor. And it's funny because these people, they were actually discussing with me. I mean, here I am, somebody who's earned their stripes. I'm a respected name in my game, etc. And in the game in general, as a DJ, as a producer, I'm giving you tips and I'm saying, look, you should really work on your. And these people are like, no, 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 this is how it works now. Well, they realized quickly that they were not getting booked as much as they should, um, because besides the fact that they had great selection, they just couldn't mix. And they once and I still give them a chance. I booked them one time for one of the shows we did, and it wasn't the I would say that the progress was definitely night and day from what they had first introduced me to. So it was at least a good 60-70% progress. Obviously, the 30% remaining was to be worked upon, but it was decent enough for them to deliver somehow a good show, and they did a great set. Considering all consideration, a great selection. Definitely. But it's very interesting how people are like, well, I feel that way, but how you feel is not rooted in truth. It's not rooted in actual knowledge. So,
It's a
like
feeling.
it's a feeling. Which is like, it's just a fucking feeling. Oh my
And
god.
that's why I was talking to Princess Lover, and I was telling her the real problem of the whole culture, and it's not just zouk, it's just, and not West Indies, it's in general. The problem of most people is that we live in the age where there's never been so much access to information. You can go on YouTube and watch people fall and all the stupid stuff that make you laugh, or you can learn every day. I personally go to YouTube for entertainment, but I also go to learn something every day. Every day I go and I try to learn something, or listen to people give me information
Same
about
here.
everything. And in a world where the information has never been so accessible to everybody, it's the choice that people make of being mediocre. People decide that they actually don't want to learn. They don't want to learn how to new skills. Listen, if everybody understood what is production, how much it costs, how much it brings, what are the ins and outs, what is publishing, what is this, what is that, genres, even just the story of your own genre that you pretended to defend. If everybody just learned about these, the conversation would be so different. It would not be emotional. It would be rooted in facts, in history. But because everybody's just emotional and about their ego, they don't see themselves in the mirror. They don't really realize that. And yeah, then the show happens and it's full. And listen, the worst part is that Jew, at the end of the show, he put a comment and he said, yeah, listen, it was an amazing show, thank you so much. And I don't remember what he said. He said something about like, it was amazing, thank you to all my people from the West Indies, etc., etc. And then he put a goat, right, in his comment, because the goat is greatest of all times. And all of these guys, because they don't understand what is a goat for, they were like, il nous traite de cabri, il nous traite de cabrit. I was like, I'm out. I was like, I'm out.
Mais ça, c'est les mentalités insulaires, hein, these are island mentalities.
Yeah.